there is a knowledge so ancient, so powerful, that it has survived through time in secret, crossing centuries and civilizations. This knowledge was codified by Hermes Trismegistus and much later discreetly revealed by the three initiates in the book known as the Kybalion. But what few understand is that these lessons were never meant to be taught openly. They were written in a veiled way, intended only for those who were vibrationally ready to receive them. Hermes knew that the universe is a great living mind, and that each human being creates their own reality through the frequency they emit. The three initiates translated these teachings into a language closer to our time, yet they still protected the essence of the secret. True transformation doesn't happen through external force, but through the silent shift of internal vibration. If you are here now, in front of these 8 secret lessons, it's not by chance. It's a sign that your frequency has already started to change. Because the Kybalion does not reveal its mysteries to those who seek only with the mind, it surrenders itself to those who seek with the soul. And today, you're going to remember what has been dormant inside you since the beginning. Imagine for a moment that everything around you, the trees, the rivers, the ground beneath your feet, isn't just inert matter, but living consciousness. This isn't a romantic idea, nor a naive belief. It's a profound truth that the three initiates revealed, echoing what Hermes Trismegistus had taught millennia ago. The earth is a vibrational mirror of the human being, a consciousness that feels, responds, and transforms along with you. Hermes said, "As above, so below, as within, so without." It wasn't just about stars and galaxies. It was about the simple act of existing in harmony with the ground that sustains you. What vibrates inside you reverberates on earth. What the earth emanates echoes within you. We're not visitors here. We're pulsing parts of the same vibrational field that stitches reality together. The three initiates explain this even more directly. The human body and the planetary body are interconnected by invisible energy lines, like roots that stretch beyond flesh and stone. When your internal vibration becomes unbalanced, when fear, guilt, hatred take over, these lines become tense, torn, disconnected. That's why sometimes you feel empty, a sense of misalignment that no immediate pleasure can fill. You've disconnected from the vibrational source that nourishes you. The most fascinating thing is that the remedy was never hidden. It's always been right beneath your feet. The earth is an extension of your own energy field, waiting for you to remember, to step down from the restless mind to the pulsing heart, to stop looking for answers on bright screens and start listening to the deep, silent sound rising from the ground. Hermes taught that the earth doesn't just sustain life, it generates vibration, sends healing codes, rebalances the spirit. But this only happens if you make space to listen. While the mind runs after distractions, the soul withers. When you sit under a tree, walk barefoot on the grass, touch the water of a river, you're not just relaxing your body, you're realigning your field with the original pulse of creation. The three initiates insist, without this reconnection, the spiritual quest becomes dry, mental, sterile. Because vibrational elevation doesn't happen just by thinking good thoughts or reading lofty texts. It happens when your body, your mind, and your energy start dancing again with the earth, like they did before you forgot who you were. And here's the mystery that almost no one understands. The earth feels you, your sadness, your hope, your anger, your love. Everything you emit is absorbed by the planet's energetic web, and the planet responds, sometimes with an invisible hug that calms you without words, other times with signs that seem like coincidences, but are actually vibrational responses to the silent requests of your soul. If you feel lost, fragmented, carrying a weight you don't know where it came from, maybe the answer is simpler than you imagine. Maybe all you need to do is touch the ground with respect, breathe the air with gratitude, walk among trees as if visiting old allies, not to ask for anything, just to remember, because you never walked alone. You just forgot how to listen. The great masters knew the human being and the earth are not two, but one. And as long as you vibrate in separation, you will feel the world as a cold, hostile, difficult place. But the moment you realign with the living frequency of the earth, a new kind of strength will start growing inside you. Not a strength made of effort, but a natural strength, like the sap silently rising through a tree's roots. This strength is yours by right. It always has been. And what if I told you that everything you see, touch, feel, and call reality isn't the beginning of anything, but just the final stage of a much deeper process? Just like a tree doesn't grow from trunk to root, but from an invisible seed planted in the dark soil, your life doesn't begin with what you can see. It begins with what you vibrate. Hermes Trismegistus taught, in the early days of Hermetic wisdom, that matter is just energy that has become dense enough to be perceived by our limited senses. Form is the consequence, not the origin. What you call concrete life, your job, your relationships, your health, your possessions, is just the visible shell of an invisible field of frequencies that you sustain without even realizing it. The three initiates, when writing the Kybalion, echoed this truth with almost unsettling clarity. The universe is mental. The universal mind is pure vibration, and everything that exists is a condensed expression of that vibration at different levels of density. When you understand this, something fundamental shifts. You stop trying to fix the world with your hands and start shaping it with your energy. Because nothing changes on the outside before it changes on the inside. You can change jobs, move to a new city, end relationships, buy new stuff. But if the vibration you carry is the same, the scenery changes, but the movie repeats. The same pains, the same patterns, the same frustrations will reappear, just with different faces and situations. Because the real battlefield was never external. It's always been vibrational. That's why some people seem to attract the same problems into their lives, no matter how many times they try to start over. They think the problem is in the circumstances, in other people, in luck, when in reality, what stays intact is the invisible field they keep emitting without even realizing it. And the universe, faithful to its vibrational nature, simply gives back what you emit with mathematical precision. Hermes compared the process of manifestation to the crystallization of a thought. First, there's the idea, fluid and invisible. Then, the idea gets fed by emotional vibration, gaining density. Only then, when that vibration is sustained with enough strength, it pierces through the invisible veils of reality and materializes in the physical world. But what few people get is that this process happens all the time, consciously or unconsciously. You're co-creating your reality with every beat of your heart, every emotion you nurture, every thought you choose to feed or let go of. And here's the most transformational point. If matter is just condensed energy, then changing the shape of your life doesn't take massive physical effort. It takes a realignment of vibration, an inner shift that comes before and shapes all outer changes. When your frequency changes, matter responds. Opportunities show up. The right people cross your path. Situations start to resolve with a flow that seems magical to those who only believe in what they can see. But to those who understand the hidden laws, it's just nature doing its thing in all its grandeur. Everything you're searching for in the physical world already exists as a vibrational potential. The real question is, Are you vibrating on the same frequency as what you want? Or are you still tuned in to the old waves of fear, doubt, and lack? This is the big key shift the three initiates wanted you to understand. You're not a victim of matter. You are the source of the vibration that creates matter. And it's exactly so you can grasp this more and more deeply that we're now going to dive into the 8 secret lessons the three initiates left for those who are ready to awaken true co-creation. Lesson 1. Your reality reflects your hidden frequency. As you start to understand that everything originates in vibration, a new kind of vision opens up before your eyes. A vision that doesn't just look at what happens on the surface, but sees the invisible roots that sustain every experience in your life. What you're living today, the situations that keep repeating, the people who cross your path, the challenges that keep coming back, none of it is random. It's all a reflection of the frequency you're constantly emitting. And the most striking thing is, most of the time, this emission isn't happening at a conscious level. It comes from hidden emotions, buried beliefs, vibrational patterns you've been carrying for so long you've mistaken them for your very identity. Hermes taught that reality is a perfect mirror, not a physical mirror, like the ones you use to see your face, but a vibrational mirror. A faithful reflection of what you're sustaining in the invisible. And if you don't like the reflection, if it shows scarcity, pain, the same old failures, there's no use trying to break the mirror. The image only changes when the frequency projecting it changes. The three initiates explain that there are deep layers in the human soul, shadow zones where old fears, unhealed rejections, and forgotten traumas keep emitting signals. You can smile on the outside, say you're fine, repeat positive affirmations, but if deep down your true frequency is still insecurity, unworthiness, fear of failure, the universe will respond to that, not to the words you say. The real vibration is the one that exists without effort. It's the one that pulses even when you're distracted, even when you're not trying to be positive. And it's that background vibration that creates the recurring events in your life. Think about a situation that keeps coming back to you, no matter how much you try to escape it. A relationship pattern that always ends the same way. A financial issue that somehow keeps finding you. A feeling of rejection that shows up in friendships, at work, in family relationships. None of this happens by chance. It's all a reflection of the hidden frequency you, maybe unconsciously, are sustaining. And here's the first step to transforming your reality. Stop blaming the world, people, or fate. What shows up on the outside is just the perfect opportunity for you to see what's vibrating on the inside. The practice is simple but deep. Pick one event that keeps repeating in your life. Don't rationalize. Just observe. And ask yourself honestly, what hidden emotion or belief is sustaining this? Maybe it's the fear of not being enough. Maybe it's the belief that it's dangerous to trust. Maybe it's the quiet feeling that success isn't meant for you. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that by bringing that hidden frequency into the light of your awareness, you're already starting to deprogram the matrix that sustains it. Because what is seen can be transformed. And what is transformed inside inevitably changes what happens outside. Lesson 2. Emotions. Energetic commands. If reality reflects the frequency you silently hold, it's through your emotions that this frequency is modulated, tuned, and transmitted to the universe. It's not what you say that shapes your life, it's what you feel. Hermes and the three initiates made this clear. Emotion is the true language of creation. The mind thinks, but it's the heart that vibrates. And the universe doesn't respond to the words that come out of your mouth. It responds to the energetic field you radiate from the inside out with every silent beat. You can affirm every day that you want abundance, love, freedom. But if your deep emotions are fear, lack, rejection, that's what your vibration will transmit to the universal field. Emotion is the invisible signature that validates or cancels everything you want to manifest. Picture your vibrational field like a radio transmitter. Every emotion is like a song you're playing for the universe to hear. You might want to play a melody of peace, but if your dominant emotion is anxiety, what echoes into the universe is the sound of fear, and the universe, being a faithful mirror, only gives back what it receives. There's no trick, no manipulation. There's only resonance. What you truly feel creates the reality you live. And here's the practice that can completely shift your frequency. Consciously choose one elevated emotion to sustain every day. It could be gratitude, it could be love, it could be pure and simple joy. It doesn't matter which one. What matters is that it's real, genuine, felt in the body, not just thought. For 3 minutes a day, close your eyes and dive into that emotion like you're diving into a river. Don't force it. Don't lie to yourself. Just remember something, someone, some moment that sincerely awakens that emotion in you. Let it fill your chest, your thoughts, your skin. 3 minutes of true vibration have more transformational power than 3 hours of empty positive thinking. Because emotion is the energetic command that the universe understands without the need for translation. And when you start choosing your emotions consciously, something magical happens. You discover that not all emotions carry the same weight, the same vibration, the same creative power. The ancient masters knew this. Hermes spoke of the higher states of being. Emotions like unconditional love, genuine compassion, true joy aren't just pleasant feelings. They are high-frequency vibrational states, and the higher the frequency you sustain, the faster and more directly you realign with your essence. Gratitude, for example, is one of the most powerful shortcuts to raise your vibration. It's no coincidence that all true spiritual traditions, without exception, teach the importance of gratitude. Genuine gratitude doesn't just open doors, it dissolves blockages. It connects you to the frequency of abundance even before abundance physically shows up. When you vibrate gratitude even before receiving what you desire, you prove to the universe that you already feel complete. And it's exactly in that state of fullness that reality starts bending to your energy field. The mistake most people make is waiting for circumstances to change before changing their vibration. But the truth Hermes and the 3 initiates tried to teach us is the opposite. First you change your vibration, then reality changes. Vibrate love before finding the relationship. Vibrate abundance before the money comes. Vibrate freedom before the circumstances change. That's the secret. And it's not about fooling yourself or forcing fake happiness. It's about consciously choosing which station of being you want to live on. Because every elevated emotion is an invisible bridge that connects you to a more aligned, lighter, truer reality. You don't need anything external to start this transformation. You already carry within you the ability to change your frequency right now, in this very moment. And the greater the emotion you cultivate, the faster you get pulled back to your original essence. Because true change doesn't happen in the world. It happens in the invisible vibrational field that creates all worlds. Lesson 3. You attract what you are, not what you want. If your emotions are the commands that shape your vibration, then what you manifest isn't what you desperately want. It's what you've already become vibrationally. This is one of the hardest and most liberating truths Hermes and the 3 initiates left behind for those ready to see beyond the illusions. In the invisible world of energies, the universe doesn't work with promises or vague intentions. It reads what you vibrate. It picks up the invisible signature you carry right now, not the one you say you'd like to carry tomorrow. No matter how many visualizations you do, how many beautiful words you repeat, If deep inside you're still vibrating fear, scarcity, or doubt, that's what's going to be reflected in your outer world. Hermes called this principle the law of inner correspondence, and the three initiates expanded this view even further. Being attracts being. Everything in the universe is a movement of energy-seeking balance. If you vibrate a reality, you naturally magnetize it to yourself because the entire universe conspires to maintain vibrational coherence. So the question is no longer, what do I want? The real question is, who am I right now? The vibrational field doesn't respond to your dreams. It responds to your state of being. You might want love, but if you're vibrating loneliness and distrust, you'll attract relationships that confirm that vibration. You might want prosperity, but if you feel unworthy or carry guilt about success, you'll sabotage opportunities before you even notice. Because, deep down, you don't attract what you ask for. You attract what you vibrate, and that's liberating. Because it means that the change you seek doesn't depend on outside factors, isn't in anyone else's hands, and doesn't need to wait for some special opportunity. It's accessible right now, in the change of who you choose to be in this exact moment. And here's a practice that can change the way you interact with your own reality. Grab a piece of paper and write down what your biggest wish is today. Be absolutely honest. Underneath that wish, create 2 columns. In the first column, write down all the emotions, thoughts, and attitudes that support that wish. In the second column, write down everything that sabotages that wish. If you want love, the first column might have trust, self-esteem, joy. The second column might show fear of betrayal, low self-esteem, need for approval. If you want prosperity, the first column might list gratitude, a vision of abundance, courage. The second could reveal fear of scarcity, guilt for wanting more, feeling unworthy. Looking at these lists is like looking at your vibrational field stripped bare. No masks, no excuses. Just you and the truth of your frequency. And don't blame yourself for what you find. This isn't a practice to create shame or self-punishment. It's a practice for liberation. Because as long as you don't see what you're vibrating, you can't change it. But once you see it, you're already starting to open space for something new. Remember, the universe doesn't respond to what you wish to be. It responds to what you already are. As you recognize that reality responds to who you are, not what you want, a new understanding starts to be born within you. An understanding that can't be taught with words or learned just by reading. An understanding that can only be experienced in the space where the mind goes silent and the true self begins to emerge. And that space has a name that few truly understand: silence. Hermes Trismegistus said that true power is not in many words, but in the mastery of silent vibration. The 3 initiates reinforce this by teaching that great vibrational transformations don't happen in noise, in anxiety, or in overaction. They happen in the sacred space of inner silence, where the being realigns with essence effortlessly, without struggle, without noise. The human mind, however, fears silence. Because silence exposes everything the mind tries to hide with endless thoughts. In constant noise, you get distracted. In silence, you are confronted. And that's why so many people run from it. But that's also why silence is the most powerful portal to refine your frequency. When you enter true silence, not just auditory silence, but vibrational silence, you stop sending out confusing signals to the universe. You stop sending waves of fear, doubt, and despair that mess up your energy field. And you begin, for the first time, to emit a pure, clean, powerful vibration. It's no coincidence that all the great spiritual traditions of the world value retreat, meditation, contemplation. Not because silence is a technique itself, but because in silence, your original vibration has room to resurface. In silence, you remember who you are without the masks, without the stories, without the distractions. And in that state of silent presence, your vibrational field naturally reorganizes itself without effort. The restless mind creates noise. The peaceful heart creates reality. It's in that space of non-doing that the true self begins to vibrate higher. It's in that gap between one thought and another that the divine spark within you can finally be heard. And it doesn't speak with words. It speaks with vibration. It speaks with a feeling of completeness that doesn't depend on anything outside. A feeling of being whole just by existing. And here's a secret that few understand. When you vibrate from that state of inner silence, your frequency becomes so pure that the external reality begins to reorganize around you almost effortlessly. Situations align. The right people show up. The answers you were looking for appear spontaneously, not because you chase them, but because by vibrating in peace, you became a natural magnet for everything that already resonated with your essence. Talk less, vibrate more. That's the way. It's not about going silent toward the world. It's about going silent toward the internal noise, about calming the storm of thoughts, judgments, fears that pollute your field, and allowing behind all that noise the original music of your soul to be heard again. Silence isn't absence, it's amplified presence. And it's in this fertile soil that your new reality will begin to bloom. Lesson 4. Sustained frequency redefines destiny. When you learn to cultivate inner silence, something inside you awakens to a new reality. Not a reality made of fleeting impulses, but of conscious choices that start shaping your timeline in ways that once seemed impossible. Because it's in the space where the mind has quieted that you realize a truth the ancients already knew. Sustained frequency redefines destiny. Hermes and the three initiates talked about this almost in code, like they were protecting a precious secret. They knew it's not the momentary emotion that changes your life. It's the frequency you're able to sustain day after day, even when the world tries to pull you back into old patterns. Most people vibrate like a leaf in the wind. They get emotional during a meditation, feel hopeful after watching a video, get inspired reading a quote. But minutes later, they're already being dragged back by the same worries, the same fears, the same old stories. This constant swinging is what keeps reality stuck in the same cycle. Sustaining a new frequency is like lighting a flame in the middle of the wind. At first, it's fragile, shaky. Any doubtful thought, any old fear-based emotion can threaten to put it out. But if you protect that flame, if you feed it every day, even when it feels pointless, if you keep feeling gratitude, love, joy, even when your external circumstances haven't changed yet, then that flame becomes a wildfire. And once the new frequency stabilizes in your field, it becomes inevitable. The entire universe starts reorganizing itself around your new state of being. People, situations, opportunities that once seemed unreachable start to show up. Not because you forced it, not because you begged for it, but because your vibration became strong enough to pull a new reality towards you. That's the law. Sustained frequency creates inevitability, and inevitability is the energy that turns destiny into choice. So here's a practice that can flip the switch on your journey. Choose one elevated frequency to sustain for the next 21 days. It could be love, it could be peace, it could be pure joy. What matters is that it's a vibration that lifts your soul. It's not enough to just think about the emotion. You have to truly feel it, embody it, make it your new vibrational home. Each day, write down how you feel, what thoughts pop up most often, what kind of events start unfolding around you. Observe without judgment. Just record it. At first, it might feel like nothing is changing, but keep going. Persistence is what separates those who just play around with transformation from those who actually achieve it. And you'll realize that, just like a seed silently germinating underground before it breaks through the surface, the vibrational shift is already working behind the scenes of your reality. Frequency is built, not accidental. And destiny, contrary to what you've been taught, is not some predetermined burden. It's the reflection of the vibration you choose to sustain every day, even when no one's watching, even when nothing seems to be happening. It's in that invisible space of persistence where the impossible starts to take shape. Lesson 5. The transmuting fire. Turn pain into power. As you start sustaining a new frequency, you'll notice that not everything reveals itself in a smooth and peaceful way. A lot of times, what was dormant in your energetic field starts to surface. Old pains, fears, and forgotten memories. This isn't a sign of failure. On the contrary, it's a sign that real transformation has begun, and within that process, there's a sacred element that few deeply understand: the transmuting fire. Hermes, in his wisdom, spoke of the inner fire not as a punishment, but as the agent of true alchemy. Fire burns, yes, but not to destroy. It burns to purify. It burns to set free. It burns to return to essence everything that's been twisted by fear, illusion, and pain. And the three initiates emphasized, every true vibrational leap is preceded by an intense purification phase. The pain that arises on the path of transformation isn't your enemy, it's your signal that old layers are breaking apart. Like the shell of a cocoon cracking open to free the butterfly, like the earth splitting to let the seed sprout. It's in that moment that many people quit, thinking they're going backwards, when in fact, they're standing before the greatest opportunity for rebirth they've ever had. Pain is not punishment. Pain is the last resistance of the old frequency trying to cling to your structure. If you resist it, if you fight it, it gets stronger. But if you welcome it, if you allow it to show up and move through it consciously, it transforms. And that's where the real magic happens. Turning pain into power is one of the greatest secrets of spiritual transmutation. It's not about denying what you feel. It's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about looking at the pain with the awareness that it's playing a role, revealing the stagnant energy that needs to be released so you can rise to a higher vibrational level. And here's a practice that can completely change the way you deal with your pain. For 7 consecutive days, set aside a moment of silence. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Bring to mind a pain that still lingers inside you. Not to relive it, but to observe it with presence. See this pain as a flame burning within you. Now imagine that this flame starts to transform. Visualize it changing color, shifting from the red of pain to the golden light of consciousness. See your pain dissolving into golden, bright, warm, loving light. Feel that light spreading through your body, your energy field, filling every empty space with renewed strength. Breathe in this new frequency deeply and give thanks. Thank the pain for what it taught you. Thank the light that now rebirths itself from within you. The fire that once burned now illuminates. The pain that once weakened you now strengthens you. The same energy that once seemed to destroy you becomes the fuel that drives your ascension. That's true spiritual alchemy, the silent transformation that happens inside you, invisible to the outside world, but deeply felt in your being. When you honor your pain as part of your expansion process, the universe honors your courage with new possibilities. Because the one who walks through the fire of consciousness doesn't just survive, they are reborn, stronger, lighter, more connected to who they have always been. As you pass through the fire of transmutation and turn pain into power, a new internal space starts to open up. and with it comes an even deeper understanding of how reality works. Time, as you always believed it to be, is not the master of your life. Frequency is. Hermes Trismegistus, in his most hidden teachings, revealed that linear time is an illusion created by the mind to organize the experience of matter. The three initiates expanded this view by explaining that true creation doesn't happen inside time but above it. Vibration doesn't depend on clocks, calendars, or human expectations. Vibration creates. Time simply watches. When you anchor a new frequency within yourself, it doesn't matter how much physical time it takes for the external world to adjust. In the vibrational field, transformation is instant. But the manifestation in the physical world follows the rhythm of density, like a seed that germinates at its own pace, even if you don't see the sprout in the first few days. This is where many people get lost. They plant a new vibration, but get stuck staring at the clock, anxious, doubting, comparing their results to others. That anxiety, that fear of it's not happening, immediately contaminates the vibrational field that was being purified, and the cycle starts all over again. The universe doesn't operate according to your anxiety. It operates according to your frequency. When you're vibrating peace but constantly asking, when, or why hasn't it happened yet, your frequency drops back into fear, doubt, and scarcity. And that's what gets manifested again. Freeing yourself from the prison of time is one of the most evolutionary steps you can take on your vibrational journey. It means trusting the invisible even when the visible hasn't changed yet. It means anchoring the feeling that it already is, that it's already happened, that it's already complete, even if nothing in the external world has confirmed it yet. Imagine yourself like a radio station. When you change the station, the music changes instantly. You don't have to wait an hour or a day for the new song to start playing. That's how it is with vibration. The change is immediate in the energy field. It's just that, in the material world, sometimes reality takes a little time to reorganize and reflect that new frequency. When you understand this, the desperation disappears. The doubt weakens. You stop looking at the clock and start feeling the field. You begin to trust not in linear logic, but in the vibrational intelligence that connects you to what's already yours by vibrational right. Every moment you stay firm in the new frequency without demanding immediate proof, you are silently speeding up the birth of your new reality. Every time you choose to trust instead of doubt, to be grateful instead of complain, to vibrate abundance instead of counting pennies, you are dissolving the old chains of time and freeing the creative power that's always been asleep inside you. The future as you knew it doesn't exist. It's just a natural consequence of the vibration you maintain now. And the more you anchor yourself in that frequency, the more time stops being an obstacle and becomes an invisible ally. You don't have to chase what's yours anymore. You just need to become vibrationally compatible with what's already waiting for you on another level of reality. Lesson 6. Your frequency decides the future. As you begin to free yourself from the chains of time and anchor more deeply into your true frequency, a new revelation becomes impossible to ignore. The future, which for so long seemed like an uncontrollable force, something left to the whims of destiny or luck, is actually being shaped right now by the vibration you choose to sustain in every small moment. Hermes Trismegistus already said that time is an illusion and that all possibilities already exist simultaneously in the infinite field of the divine mind. What determines which one you'll experience isn't logic nor blind effort, but the quality of the energy you emit. It's your frequency that, like an invisible key, opens the door to the future that resonates with who you are today. The three initiates made this crystal clear. The creation of the future happens in the present. Every thought nurtured with emotion, every feeling fed with intention, every choice made with consciousness or carelessness. All of it sketches, with invisible strokes, the scene you'll one day call tomorrow. This understanding changes everything because it takes you out of the role of victim of events and places you on the silent throne of the co-creator. There's no more room for passivity. The future isn't a mystery you need to guess. It's a masterpiece being written now with every frequency you choose to cultivate or ignore. And here's where the practice becomes sacred. Every single day, without exception, ask yourself with brutal honesty, what future am I vibrating right now? Not the future you mentally desire, but the future your current frequency is calling in. Observe your energy before you get out of bed. Observe your vibration while you talk to people. Observe what you feel when you face a challenge. It's in those simple, seemingly insignificant moments that the future is being carved out. If you're vibrating fear, insecurity, resentment, even unconsciously, you'll be feeding lines of reality that bring more reasons to feel exactly that. If you're vibrating trust, gratitude, presence, even in the middle of chaos, you'll be invisibly building paths where light becomes inevitable. This practice isn't about controlling your thoughts all the time. It's not about going into vibrational paranoia. It's about bringing awareness to your internal state, because it's awareness, not control, that transforms frequency. When you ask yourself every day, what future am I vibrating right now? You start to realize that every moment is a crossroads. Every emotion you sustain is a vibrational choice that creates ripples beyond what the mind can comprehend. And little by little, you stop being pushed around by the current of events and start consciously navigating the river of existence. Lesson 7. Vibrational change is a process, not an event. When you start to understand that every vibrational choice is shaping your future now, there's a silent temptation to want immediate results, to want the world to bend to your new frequencies overnight. But here, you need an even deeper understanding, one that Hermes and the three initiates left as a loving warning for all sincere seekers. Vibrational change isn't a miraculous leap that happens in an instant. Vibrational change is a process, a path that unfolds layer by layer, breath by breath, choice by choice. The mind, used to immediacy, wants to see everything happen now. It wants to plant today and harvest tomorrow. It wants to vibrate love once and instantly meet the perfect partner. It wants to vibrate abundance for a few minutes and immediately see prosperity materialize right before its eyes. But the universe, wise and unchanging, respects rhythms that are far deeper than human anxiety can grasp. Every frequency you sustain is like invisible ink redrawing your reality. But before the new picture can emerge clearly, the old layers need to dissolve. And that doesn't happen in a rush. The old vibration needs to be recognized, felt, integrated, and only then transmuted. Imagine a lake that for years has accumulated debris and impurities. You can throw a pure stone into the lake today, but it will take time for the muddy waters to fully clear. The same thing happens inside you. Every elevated emotion, every conscious thought, every loving choice is like a drop of light purifying your field. And even if you don't immediately see the transformation on the surface, know that something is shifting deep down. The three initiates taught that true spiritual mastery isn't about big momentary highs, but about the ability to sustain small, silent inner victories day after day. Celebrating each small change as if it were a huge victory is the secret that speeds up the process without forcing it. Because every time you notice you reacted with more calm where you would have exploded before, every time you give thanks where you would have complained, every time you choose trust where you would have doubted, you are strengthening the new frequency that's calling a new world into your life. These small victories Almost invisible to those still trapped by what's merely tangible, are the true milestones of your vibrational transformation. And here's the practice that can anchor this understanding into your daily life. Every time you notice a small vibrational shift within yourself, pause for a moment and celebrate. It doesn't have to be an external party, just a silent smile, "I see you" to your soul. Every act of inner acknowledgement reinforces the new energetic pattern, solidifying it in your field in a way no forced practice ever could. Vibrational change is a dance, not a race. It's presence, not hurry. It's organic evolution, not mental imposition. And when you learn to honor every step, every layer, every nuance of your own transformation, the entire universe dances with you, silently celebrating the great work being built within your being. Lesson 8. It's sustaining the frequency that changes reality. And as you understand that every small vibrational change is a silent victory, an even more powerful truth reveals itself. It's not feeling an elevated emotion for a few moments that changes reality. It's sustaining that frequency, like keeping a sacred flame burning in the winds of the world. Hermes and the three initiates were always clear in their deepest teachings. Touching the right frequency is just the beginning. The real power lies in sustaining it even in the face of circumstances trying to pull you back into old vibrational states. Because it's easy to vibrate gratitude on a good day. It's easy to vibrate love when everything around you seems favorable. But the real breakthrough happens when you can hold that vibration even when nothing outside seems to justify it. Sustaining is more important than occasionally feeling. Sustained vibration gradually melts the old matrix that kept your life stuck in repetitive patterns. Sustained frequency becomes such a powerful, irreversible force that the very fabric of your reality starts reorganizing itself around who you have become. It's like heating ice. You can apply heat for a few seconds, and the ice will stay solid. But if the heat is constant, eventually the ice will melt. It's the same with your old life. It doesn't matter how dense the blocks are, how heavy the old patterns feel. Sustained frequency, applied day after day with patience and firmness, breaks any chain. And to strengthen this inner practice, you can anchor your frequency through a sustaining mantra. Not an empty mantra repeated automatically, but a phrase that carries the power of your vibrational intention. Something simple, yet profound, like, "I am light in motion," or, "With every breath, I expand my frequency of love." Choose a mantra that resonates with what you want to become and repeat it every day, not as someone asking, but as someone affirming what already is. Keeping that vibrational anchor throughout the day creates invisible roots that support your transformation even in the moments when the mind tries to drift away. Because the mind forgets, but the vibration remembers. And little by little, you stop being someone who tries to change their life and become someone who naturally radiates a new reality. Now, if you've made it this far, something inside you is already no longer the same. Because what the three initiates really wanted to teach was never a set of external techniques, nor a code hidden behind complicated words. The great work they left us is much simpler and much deeper. Change the inner being so that the outer universe inevitably has to transform. True alchemy was never about turning lead into physical gold. It was always about turning density into light, fear into love, doubt into certainty, scarcity into vibrational abundance. It was always about purifying the inner frequency until reality, like an obedient mirror, inevitably reflected the new vibration. That's why Hermes said that what is inside is like what is outside. When you change on the inside, the world changes on the outside. Not by magic in the common sense, but by natural law. Because the entire universe is a vibrational field, effortlessly responding to your true energetic signature. True alchemy is vibrating so deeply with the new reality that the universe has no choice but to match it, not with force, not with desperation, but with the gentleness of someone who knows that everything is already done in the invisible before it ever shows up in the visible. You don't need to prove yourself to the world. You don't need to chase after it. You don't need to wear yourself out trying to control everything. You just need to vibrate, subtly, consistently, courageously, until life, like a great cosmic mirror, reflects back to you everything you sustained in the silence of your being. And that's when you understand what the great masters always knew, that true change isn't a miracle that comes from the outside. True change is the miracle that is born from within. And now that you feel this new frequency starting to pulse inside you, I want to tell you something important. The process doesn't end here. A special video has been set aside for you, prepared with the same care and depth, so you can take the next step on this vibrational journey. It's content that will take you even deeper into what has awakened inside you today. So don't leave just yet. Take a deep breath, feel this new energy that's already moving within you, and click on the video that's showing up on your screen now. I'll meet you there, on the other side, where the transformation continues and the real magic happens. I'll see you there.